Checking out the podcasts of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader when the leader.
Oh my God.
Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader. Follow the leader.
Make 'em clap to this.
To show our appreciation for your support.
Make 'em clap to this.
Thank you, DJs.
Make 'em clap to this. Make 'em clap to this. Make 'em clap to this. Make 'em clap to this.
I want to show off my bars. Is this the long intro version? I came in the door, I said it before. I never let the mic magnetize me no more, but it's fight me and fight me and fighting me to rhyme. I can't hold it back. I'm looking for the line, taking off my coat, clearing my throat. My rhyme will be kicking it till I hit the last note. Come on, man, rock him! Eric B and rock him. Shout out to Andy. We get hyped. I should have kept going. But Andy knows that I'm a soloist, so Eric B, make him clap to this.
Make 'em clap to this. Make 'em clap to this.
Listen, I love Eric B and Rakim. Love, 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 love. Those beats still rock. Rakim's voice, let's talk about it. You were locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. Shout out to my cousin Tawana. Back in the day, she used to date Eric B and introduced me to Eric B and Rakim. I was so excited. This was like 89. I was like, wow. Anyway, yeah, I've been in this hip-hop game a long time. Y'all ain't even ready. You don't even know.
See, now I got to ask you. You said it. I was going to go top 10. Let's do top 5 voices in hip-hop, male or female.
Wow, that's a good one. Rakim is in there. You know, like the God. Like, he set it off, right? Gotta go Snoop, because Snoop's cadence, his voice, his tone, the silkiness, you know. Let's see, for a female, because I gotta throw a female in the mix. It's gotta be Kim or Foxy because of the hair, and you know.
I'd give that to Foxy if you're going.
You know.
Based off her voice, I'll go Foxy.
Probably Foxy, because her register was deeper and she just little, you know. And as a deep, raspy voice chick, you know, I appreciate that. Two more. I don't know. That's a great question. Like, old school me feels like you gotta pay homage. Well, I got somebody from the 80s. I was like, do we got to throw like a Run DMC, like, you know, some of the originators who set it up in there? I don't know.
I guess a better question is, what is it about an artist's voice that might be captivating, or, you know, something that might grab your attention?
Their tone, their timbre, how they spin their words together. You know, diction is a thing. You can take the same line, and depending upon how you spit it out, how you chop it up, because we see it sometimes, like when you see live performances and people change up their delivery or the way that they do stuff or whatever. So I like the voice as an instrument, and I like people who use it well.
I love it.
Because you think about it, there's some people who, if you really, really, really think about it, man, that song was whack. But the delivery, the tone, or whatever sets it off. It can make all the difference in the world. Forensic Accountant says Chuck D's voice has authority. It's like your daddy rapping to you.
I'll give him that.
You are right about that. It's not among my favorites, though. Although I understand why it is and why it should be for a lot of people.
I'm going to give you a couple names.
Okay.
Eazy-E.
I did not like Eazy-E's high-pitched, whiny voice.
Okay.
But I respected it.
Okay.
You know?
Lil Wayne. Same thing, huh?
It's not even... So I'm going to say something that sounds crazy, right? I understand Lil Wayne. I remember reading in Vibe magazine when it was Cash Money and Missy Elliott. Lil Wayne was 15 and she was talking about how dope Lil Wayne was and charming, and she like loved him, and I was like, who?
Uh-oh.
Him?
Uh-oh.
I like Wayne. But I am not like a Wayne stan. I have songs that I like. I understand mixtape Wayne. You know, I've seen him perform live several times, but Wayne's not in my top 5. So, you know.
That's not crazy.
I mean, it feels like it sometimes because people just see like Wayne, the guy, and sometimes I'm like Wayne. I don't know. Although he's spitting on that new song with Tyga, I was like, okay, Wayne, you did a little bit. I don't know.
Lil Wayne did drop, what was it called, the Fix Before the Six. I guess that's his like mixtape or whatever before the album. It's cool. It's cool. It's somewhat of a throwback to mixtape Wayne to a degree because he's not using that much auto tune, but you know.
Yeah.
He's not even in my top 5 either.
See. Okay. Who else? What other voice? Let's go.
I think those are the only 2 off the top.
Okay.
Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is like...
You're crazy for this one, Rick.
And he has
it's your boy.
And that little laugh, the little... Jay-Z's voice is not a typical rapper voice when you really think about it. He has the little timbre in it where it shakes a little bit or whatever. But I like it. I mean, I mess with Jay. Like, heavy. Jay is one of my favorite rappers. Like, Jay, Snoop, and Drake.
Biggie
has a powerful voice, but if we're going to go the 2, you know, obviously I'm going to mix them in there. I'm going to go Pac.
So you like Pac's voice?
You know, I like Pac everything.
Period. It don't matter. Huh?
Yeah. But I do like Pac's voice. It's very distinctive. You know, think about his voice on I Won't Deny It. I'm a straight rider. You don't want to. Just how it floats over the beat and stuff like that. You know, he has a little sing song to it. We know Hennessy, enemies. So
I'll give you 2 more.
All right.
Nas or
DMX, because I like the roughness of it and the rasp, and I think I've talked about this before. Go ahead.
How can I forget? Jadakiss.
I love Jada, but I wouldn't think of his voice as a top 5 or whatever. You know, like that. I just wouldn't. So, LL Cool J's, his voice isn't in my top 5. No, and I love LL, but no,
Mimi
not
always
as far as
bringing
voice.
LL up. Has nothing to do.
Did you go to Rock the Bells this summer, Mimi? LL abandoned us, though. LL went a little Republican, but he came back for the 50. That's just my opinion. We don't never see LL no hip-hop stuff. I feel like people forgot about him. He don't check in with... We did this summer. I'm talking about prior to. LL wasn't really involved with the stuff. He doesn't really tap in. He's an actor.
If I'm not mistaken, LL had made like commentary about how he feels as if hip-hop today doesn't give him the recognition, though.
I think they don't give him the recognition because a lot of them don't know that he's a rapper.
Ain't that sad, yo?
Do you know what I'm saying? And because he's not, I mean, before this summer, when's the last time LL had toured? When have you seen LL on any show?
Like a performance?
Yeah.
Some years ago when they had the BET experience. That was the last time I seen him.
Right. But he doesn't get out there. And I feel like it's the same thing with MC Lyte. I feel like MC Lyte doesn't get a lot of shine. MC Lyte is dope. She was different, but I feel like people don't really, and when I say people, obviously not, you know.
The general public.
Yeah. Don't really know or remember them and know how dope they were and how transformative their albums and things of that nature was. So
they only know her now for
being a voiceover.
Yeah.
Being the host. Shout out to Cafe Mocha. Is it still on the station? I believe it is.
Saturdays at 2 p.m., I believe.
So, yeah, shout out to Cafe Mocha. Check out MC Lyte. I think she deserves more flowers. Boom, boom. Pretty Brown Mimi says, so LL Cool J isn't even on your top 5. He's so talented and gorgeous. Hey, I love LL. Crush Groove is one of my favorite movies. The scene when he walked in and was like, box. That was, you don't even know. It looks so soft now, but it was so hard as a little kid seeing that in 85 in the theater, like, oh my God. But anyway, when we come forward, we're going to have more trending topics and headlines. Want to play for you this Floyd Mayweather clip, why he says he is the GOAT. We're going to get into Tamar's breakup with her fiance, JR, that she met on a reality show. You know, are these things workable? Plus more trending topics and headlines. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
trending topics, and the hottest happenings. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
A sense of peace, a place to kick back and put down roots, a lasting legacy. However you define home, at City National, we're committed to helping you get there with our City National Ladder Up Home Loan Program. Find the full benefits at cnb.com/ladderuphome. City National Bank, here for our clients and communities. Ladder Up program is available only in select areas. Terms and conditions apply. Not all applicants will qualify. City National Bank is an equal housing lender. Member FDIC. NMLS ID 536994.
KBLA Talk 1580 stands for Unity and Healing. African Focus Incorporated is a nonprofit organization based in California that focuses on the growth and well-being of Africans all around the world. Their mission is to promote the well-being of people of African descent through knowledge and appreciation of one another by building a bridge of love and understanding. African Focus Incorporated strives for cultural, educational, and economic growth. They're the organization behind the African Family Induction Ceremony, African Goodwill Awards, African Focus Trailblazer Tours, African Dance Competition, and Showcase Los Angeles, Family Day, Good News Windows Microfinance Project, and more. To volunteer, travel with African Focus, or to attend one of their community building events, please call 310-676-7730. That's 310-676-7300. Or visit AfricanFocus.org. This is a diaspora-wide community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Heart failure, carpal tunnel syndrome, shortness of breath, stomach issues, lower back pain. How does it all add up? If you have heart failure and any of those seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, it's time to talk with your cardiologist and get the full picture. They may add up to transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy. ATTR-CM is a rare and underdiagnosed disease. Recognize the signs and discuss them with your doctor soon. Learn more at connectwithyourheart.com. That's connectwithyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 joins you in standing for voting rights. When We All Vote is a leading national nonpartisan initiative on a mission to change the culture around voting and to increase participation in each and every election by helping to close the race and age gap. Created by Michelle Obama, When We All Vote brings together individuals, institutions, brands, and organizations to register new voters across the country and advance civic education for the entire family and voters of every age to build an informed and engaged electorate for today and generations to come. When We All Vote empowers their supporters and volunteers to take action through voting, advocating for their rights, and holding their elected officials accountable. Please visit whenweallvote.org to stand up for your rights, voting rights. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Keeping you informed, entertained, and always ahead of the curve. This is RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So listen, your guy Floyd Mayweather, he is always going to let you know that he's the greatest, right? And he was promoting one of his fighters this weekend. I think the fighter was on the undercard of the Canelo-Charlo fight this weekend. And so after the fight at the post conference, someone had a question of his fighter and asked the young guy about working with arguably one of the greatest boxers of all time. And Floyd was like, yeah, let's run this back and run the tape.
You're backed by arguably one of the greatest of all time, right?
What are we rating ourselves on? What are we rating on?
Okay.
Well, we're going to know in the least amount of fights. You know, I didn't have to have 70 fights or 150 fights, 300 fights. Did I not beat the most world champions?
Yes, you did.
Okay. And in the least amount of fights?
Yes, you did.
Who got the highest gate?
Floyd Mayweather.
Who made the most money?
You did.
Who was the most accurate fighter of all time?
You were.
So it's basically saying that
The greatest of all time.
Okay.
All right.
So Floyd raises some great points. I mean, those are some very efficient stats. I want to know why do people have such a hard time acknowledging Floyd's dominance? Andy?
He's boring.
Because he's technically sound?
He's technically sound, and I respect it, but he's boring. Number two, he will, I don't want to say he dodges fights, but he'll wait for a certain period of time.
Until you think the fighters pass their prime?
100%. And his fights are boring, period. Look, I respect the aspect of boxing to the point where you don't get hit. If he's the greatest of all time of anything, he's the greatest defensive boxer of all time. I will give him that.
Okay.
But everything else, it's rare that you see him knock somebody out.
That's true.
I swear, like the last 10 fights, I'll be honest with you. Whoever fought against Mayweather, I was going for the opposition. I wanted to see Mayweather lose. You know what I'm saying? There was something about his cockiness that I wasn't feeling. But that's the reason why I feel like people don't consider him to be the greatest of all time. You know, especially in the sport of boxing. When you talk about GOATs, come on now, he's nowhere near a Muhammad Ali.
Right.
So
Tyson,
I think that, but at
Sugar
the same time, I will give him this credit. I know several times he talked about how he doesn't want to end up like a lot of your favorite boxers where, you know, pretty much they're like a vegetable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So to his defense, being one of the greatest defensive fighters of all time, you did your job as a fighter in the boxing ring. And you made your bread. And I just think when it comes to the money aspect, the business aspect, it's just something about today where we learned a lot from the past to where today's athletes get paid a little bit more. So, I mean, hey, to your credit, salute to you. But I think that kind of goes around all sports.
Well, you know, Floyd's going to do one thing, and that is talk about Floyd. Well, not mad at him. I just, you know, I wanted to see what the jury had to say about the facts as presented. I don't think that his record, it's going to be hard to challenge his record, though, because he has no losses. And obviously, he's not fighting anymore. And it's going to take a lot for somebody to get up there and to get into that type of space where they can bob and weave and not get touched, right?
Well, who knows? Maybe Crawford will take over.
I was going to say, you know, we have Crawford. But I think, too, though, with boxing, I feel like heavyweights are, you know, or middleweights, the ones on the upper end, those are the fighters that get the most respect. Their punches seem to be more powerful. Their fights seem to be more engaging. And people overall seem to gravitate more towards them.
It's only because of the lineage. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people did say, well, man, when was the last great heavyweight fight that we had before Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury?
I can't even tell you.
Exactly. I can only think back to maybe Lennox Lewis and Mike Tyson as far as heavyweight goes.
And that's a long time.
And then when you think about middleweight, if I'm not, you know, I stand to be corrected. I believe, man, you had that era of Sugar Ray Leonard, Marvin Hagler, Thomas Hitman Hearns. I mean, it was just... You had legends. You had rivalries at that time. Nowadays in boxing, you don't have too many rivalries. You don't have maybe 3 to 5 fighters in a certain weight class that are all just like, oh, man, we got to see them go against each other. It's rare.
Maybe we'll get back to that. Or maybe you guys will just continue watching UFC. Who knows? We'll have to see. I'm just saying, didn't they say that that's what started killing boxing, UFC, and those kind of combat sports? I don't particularly care for UFC, but, you know.
To a degree, I will say UFC does have a little bit more rivalries, more storylines, more, you know, more appealing stories than boxing does right now.
So, see?
But I'll still watch boxing, though. Give me a good fight.
We'll check it out.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. Well, continuing on our theme of black men being vulnerable tonight in sports, I have a clip for you of Deion Sanders and Michael Irvin. So, of course, you know, Saturday, Colorado played USC at home. All the celebs were in the building. You know, they're showing out. Like I said, Colorado is like Hollywood in the Rocky Mountains. KG and Paul Pierce were there. Jaylen Brown, Derek White, Aaron Gordon, DeAndre Jordan, Deshaun Jackson, the baby. The baby spoke to them beforehand. Deion said it was because he's been through adversity and that would be good for the kids. I don't know, Deion. You could have gone another direction. I don't even have anything personally against the baby. I just feel like, why? Warren Sapp was also in the building. T.O. Let's see who else. Just CeCe Sabatha. Just the list goes on and on and on. It was packed. But before the game, because, you know, a lot of the sports shows are headed out to do live broadcasts from Colorado and, you know, do their thing. I don't know why I keep saying, you know. At any rate, I thought that this moment, it was a conversation between Michael Irvin and Deion Sanders. Irvin. I'm saying Steve Irwin, like the, you know, the guy, the crocodile guy, Michael Irvin. It's late. It's the third hour. It's the after hours, you know. But anyway, I thought it was really a nice conversation, and they had it on air because they talked about how they both supported each other in their friendship. Deion talked about how he wanted to make sure to help Michael get back on TV. He knew that TV wasn't his thing. He felt he was too honest, too real for TV. His path was, you know, on the sidelines. On the other side, Mike was like, he didn't have the juice anymore, and they needed Deion. So I like that they talked about this, talked about it publicly, and shared what they did for each other. Because oftentimes, you know, we hear about guy friendships, and we know that's your boy, but we don't know about the small things that really hold friendships together within men. So I think it's important to share, and we're going to share.
When I retired and I had a situation, Deion was on TV and my situation went bad. You know what Deion did? He said, hey, listen, man, let me help you get back in TV. He traveled with me. We went and had meetings with BET. We were trying to put a show together. Right. We were in these conference meeting rooms with execs. And they were, and Time and I, we were off the hip on it trying to put a show together because Time was trying to help me get back in the business. Yeah. And that dude in that room said, okay, what's your long-term goals? And we were like, oh, man, we're on the short term right now. Right, long-term goal. Time was like, bro, I'm just trying to get my boy back in the business. But let me tell you something about him. Let me tell you something about this guy, too. With everybody, he helps everybody. When I started doing television, and I didn't have no reference because I thought I was too honest to do TV. You know how it is. First, I'm too honest. I'm going to tell the truth. He came over to my house. We went in my office. He set papers up on the walls at different places. He cameras. Said, these are your cameras. So when you talk to me, make sure you go back to your main camera. Darn it, I'm getting emotional. This man did that for me. He didn't have to do that. He didn't have to do that. And he wanted me to be the best and prepared me for this next level of my life. That's friendship, man. No matter what goes on, that's friendship, and that's one of the reasons whenever he calls, I'm picking it up on the first ring because I love him, man. I love you, my brother. Too, man. I love you too.
So I don't have any commentary about this other than what I said. I just thought it was a really nice moment. I think it's important. I think that I like to see more of that. I like to see Black men sharing their friendship, talking about the moments where they were vulnerable, where they needed help. And it's not finances or something like that. It is just, you know, them connecting over things and being there and being supportive for each other. So I just wanted to share that with you VIPs because you guys need to be in the know. And now you are. So now let's get into this Tamar Braxton thing. Poor Tamar. We have watched her ups and downs with relationships. We watched her and Vince, of course, on Braxton's, long-running reality show, docuseries. We saw her involved with the last guy who she said was controlling and physically abusive. And then we saw her, along with Evelyn Lozada and Nivea, come together with Will Packer, with Holly Robinson Pete and Rodney Pete as their mentors on this dating show. And everyone thought, hey, maybe this time it's really working out for Tamar. They went really fast. They got engaged. They were instantly connected to one another. But in a recent Instagram story, Jeremy Robinson, that's the fiance, he opened up about the status of his relationship with Tamar. And he took some speculation out of the mix because he confirmed some things. So this is what he wrote. So many questions, so many assumptions. I want to answer all that I can with respect. Yes, Tamar and I are no longer together. I ended the relationship to focus on getting back to positive energy and being a better person. What happened and why? That's our private place. So we're going to get into Tamar's response. But what I will say is, if you were interested in staying in positive energy and positive space, I understand there'll be questions, right? I understand that people will want to know, but don't you think there's a better way that you can frame things if you're trying to stay positive and you're saying that's our private business on what happened and why? You know, people are going to ask. You guys were on a reality show, a whole reality show. So I just wonder, what do you think the best approach is for women that are like Tamar, high profile, have had some bumpy relationships? Is it just to keep everything a secret and offline? With that, you know, everybody's a junior paparazzi. Everybody is in the mix. Can you protect it like that? Are you being secretive? Is the other person going to understand? Is it not full transparency? I don't know. We're going to talk more about it. JR also had this to add in another post. No, I never cheated. No, I wasn't there when she was at her mother's place when her car was being burglarized. No, I never cared about the fame. Who reveals their most embarrassing moments in their life to find fame? I have always represented famous people, and I was in an amazing place financially and mentally. I don't know. You went on a reality show, so at least to some degree, no matter what, fame was a small part of the equation. A small part. Maybe not the main part. Maybe not the whole part, but it was a part. When we come forward, we'll get into Tamar's response with this. We're also going to talk about another celebrity divorce that cropped up today. And if we have time, we'll get into the top 10 cars for millionaires and the official cause of death of Jackie O's death related to a plastic surgery procedure. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
Death, but he's kicking it. Plus it ain't no half-stepping. The party is live. The rhyme can't be kept inside of me. Erupting just like a volcano. It ain't the everyday style or the same old rhyme. Cause I'm better than the rest of them. Every B is on the cut, and my name is Rakim. Make a clap to this.
Infusing a sense of fun and entertainment in every episode. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580. More when we come forward.
I'm Doug Davis, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. A Portland, Oregon man who was accused of making racial threats against two women in his Gresham apartment complex has been indicted on 33 charges. Ring camera video shows 19-year-old Dominic Austin armed with a knife and threatening to rape and kill the victims. Millions of Americans are facing student loan payments again. The requirement officially went back into effect on Sunday after an over 3-year pause during the COVID pandemic. The Supreme Court blocked a policy in June that would have forgiven $20,000 in student loan debt for many borrowers. Mariah Carey will head out on tour this holiday season. The singer announced that Merry Christmas One and All tour will visit 13 cities. Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You is the top-selling holiday song by a female artist in history. And that is the latest. I'm Doug Davis from the Black Information Network and BINnews.com. Make it a great and safe Monday.
Need an accident attorney by your side? All you got to do go. It's called the Accident Guys.
Injured in a car accident or at work? Call the Accident Guys. 877-888-GUYS. Or go to calltheaccidentguys.com. Se habla español.
Follow the leader.
KBLA Talk 1580.
Follow the leader.
If you're not following KBLA Talk 1580 on all of our socials, then you're missing out. Download our app and find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and on the web at KBLA 1580.
That's right.
Again, you can find all of our socials at KBLA 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
By the way, if you miss any of our weekday shows in real time, you can always catch up by checking out the podcast of your favorite shows at your leisure. At KBLA Talk 1580, we've got your black.
Follow the leader.
Following the leader.
Oh my God. Follow the leader. 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 Follow the leader.
Hey, Dad, how do airplanes fly? What's in this box? Is this tree good for climbing? How are babies made? What does this thing do?
Kids are curious about everything, including guns. Talking to them about gun safety in your home is a good first step, but you can do more. Always keep your guns locked, unloaded, and stored separately from ammunition. Safe gun storage saves lives. Learn how to make your home safer at endfamilyfire.org. That's endfamilyfire.org. Brought to you by End Family Fire, Brady, and the Ad Council.
JP Morgan Chase is building on the investments in California and around the country to help close the racial wealth gap and build a more equitable future. As part of JP Morgan Chase commitment, they are taking action to help improve financial wealth and access to banking in the Black community, helping more people open low-cost checking and savings accounts, hosting community seminars with supporting Black-led institutions by building awareness about financial investments, hiring community managers, and opening community center branches like Crenshaw, Inglewood, in downtown LA. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Get the tools to help reach your financial goals. Visit today, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity. Again, jpmorganchase.com/racial equity.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 reminding you that we keep us safe. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family was founded to help address domestic violence and sexual assault in the Asian and the Pacific Islander communities. The Center for the Pacific Asian Family's mission is to build healthy and safe communities by addressing the root causes and consequences of family violence and violence against women. They are committed to meeting the specific cultural and language needs of the Asian and Pacific Islander women and their families. CPAF's vision is of an Asian and Pacific Islander community that embraces healthy relationships and works in partnership with other communities to eradicate all forms of violence. To access services, volunteer, or for more info, visit nurturingchange.org. At KBLA Talk 1580, we believe everyone deserves to be safe. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
Now. We tend not to think about now. We dream about tomorrow, relive yesterday. But right now in front of us is victory over cancer. Right now, cancer research funded by the V Foundation is leading to better treatments and saving lives. Victory over cancer is there for the taking by you, because today's cancer research is tomorrow's victory. Learn more at v.org.
Don't give up. Don't ever give up.
As we go a little something like this.
Hey, it is me, D.L. Huger, and I am thrilled to be heard weekdays in my hometown on KBLA Talk 1580. So check out the D.L. Hughley Afternoon Show weekdays from 2 to 4 p.m. exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580. We got a whole lot to talk about, let me tell you.
That's on the real. Curating the most compelling stories and delivering them straight to your ears. You're listening to RSVP with Jill Munroe on KBLA Talk 1580.
little chubby, but don't feel slow. We guarantee you one thing: we can surely come to the party and rock the house as we harmonize, stop to turn it out. So what's the fresh move? And take it from me. Listen to the fresh sounds of the Disco 3. Ha ha!
Shout out to Irvin Spencer, providing the beat.
Put all together, the Disco Brothers. You know the crowd starts quaking, the crowd starts breaking, and the body starts shaking to the funky rhythm of the beat go fast. So what's the fresh move, individual rap?
Marky D, but you can call me the Prince.
And I have a slight problem that I couldn't solve since I was tired. See, I'm
over 8 at a steady pace rate.
Yeah, I'm overweight.
I don't remember all the words to this one, but I remember it. Listen, the Fat Boys were one of the first hip-hop acts to bring in comedy. They were before the Fresh Prince. They had movies, cartoons as well, like them, Kid and Play, MC Hammer. Don't sleep. Real talk. That's a big deal. It's a really big deal. You know, they kind of blew up when they started sampling 50s white surfer music like the Beach Boys. One of their biggest songs was Wipeout. But they were also in Crush Groove. And listen, you got to be an OG to appreciate that. Urban Spencer wanted to hear it. Andy made it happen because he's that guy. That's right. Give it up for Andy. Give it up for yourself. Okay, so listen. We were talking about Tamar and her fiance, JR. And, you know, he came out like, oh, this wasn't for fame. All of these things. Dog, you went on a reality show. I don't care if you say the reality show pursued you to be on there. You went on there. You know what's going to happen if you go on a reality show. You knew it was a reality show to date a famous woman, right? So it's that catch-22. We've talked about this. You owe the public a bit of a response because you let us all in the group chat. We're all there, right? But how much and the way that you frame it, you also know what you're doing by taking that passive-aggressive approach. Oh, no, we're not together. However, that's our business. You know, you didn't even give the obligatory, we're going to remain as friends. She's a great person. You basically threw her under the bus and then was like, but we're going to keep it private. So this is Tamar's response to JR's message.
I've done a lot to work on my mental health and change who I used to be into who I am now. And I can't help if people fall into that perception because it's easy. And I get it, you know. But I won't let anybody hold me captive to my past and things that I have overcome. I today am mentally healthy and I'm happy. I'm hurt, but such is life. I'm surprised, but okay. But I just want everybody to know that the devil is a dirty liar, and I've worked my entire behind off. I funded this entire tour. Live Nation gave me an opportunity. I am not going to let the devil or anyone, I don't care what they say, what they put out, the battle is not mine. And I'm not even going to address or talk about or fall into the traps of the devil because I live by the word. And so that's what I'm doing. Okay, I'm being obedient and I'm going on tour and I'm going to have a blast. And we are going to sell out all of these dates for all of these amazing, beautiful.
So listen, Tamar basically, you know, she hadn't said anything up to that point. Some may say, well, of course not. If she got dumped, why would she? But I do think even in her response here, she didn't go too much in on him. Whereas I felt like he kind of threw her under the bus. And we know Tamar has had some issues. We know that she has some things that she is working through and has worked through. I just wonder, what is the appropriate response when you have a public relationship, one that started, allegedly, on a reality TV show. How do you satisfy the people that have rooted for you and rode with you, but still maintain some sense of privacy? And also, I mean, that seemed really emotional for Tamar. We know she's sensitive. How do you sort of keep your balance in situations as such?
Let your PR team handle that and submit a press release or something. You know what I'm saying? Tamar Braxton and, significant other broke up.
Respect their privacy during this time.
Bada bing, bada
Go
boom.
check her out on tour, blah, blah, blah. Keep it going. I agree. But do you think, because Tamar is not just a singer, but she's also a talk show host, she's on Dish Nation, do you think that she views that as maybe hiding or not being true to her position as, a commentator?
Nah. When it comes to private matters, regardless of the position that you hold, you know what I'm saying? If you want to hold on to privacy, you should. You should hold on to privacy. Just because, she's a talk show host, nah, I don't think we should. We're already nosy as is.
Right.
I think that press release would be enough information as is. And when she takes that hiatus or whatever, and then she decides to come back, I'm sure after, all the dust is settled, she would, she would share her.
Get into what happened.
Absolutely. But right now, it's like you said, it's too sensitive right now.
It's fresh, and I feel for her because I know, we've seen her go through stuff, whether self-inflicted or not. Everybody goes through some relationship struggles, and this is how you could have 35 bodies at 31 years old because, think about where we are with Tamar's thing. I'm sorry, I just was throwing it back to Brittany Renner because Brittany's going to keep coming up in conversation. Listen, she circled back with some more information from that. Again, I watched a great deal of it. I haven't finished it yet. But her sharing that she also had sex with 3 men in 24 hours and got a yeast infection. Too far, Britt. Too far. Too far. You could have just left it where it was. Too far. Andy.
I must have missed that. I guess
Yeah, I decided not to bring it here. But I guess I just did. But I didn't feel like it needed a big thing. Too far.
I guess I'm curious to know, and I know Brittany Renner's not here, but even as a woman, did she come off like she was bragging about that, or like?
No, she was, basically acknowledging that, you get the creepy crawlies from doing too much, just stating that she wasn't ashamed of her body count, and this is why this happened in a moment.
Did she say that she regretted having 3 guys in 24 hours and getting the yeast infection, or she was just, hey, this is what happened?
She didn't express regret, but I don't know if there was room for that. It was part of the whole thing, continuing. I got 35 bodies. I want to be fully transparent. I want you to accept me in all of my glory, all of my whatever, we grow. I will say one thing. She doesn't hide behind anything. She doesn't make excuses for herself and the things that have happened and some of the things that she does, which I wholeheartedly respect.
What's crazy is a lot of men will respect that too, as opposed to, a woman who's faking the funk. At least we know that, you're out here with 35 people. Then it's up to me to kind of, make a decision if I want to, entertain it too.
I mean, Rick Fox was like, how do I get on the list? Immediately.
Stay strapped, homie. Stay strapped.
Rick should know about that. He's had a lot of adventures. He played in New York.
And also, I just want to say this too. I know for a lot of people, they feel like Brittany Renner's number is through the roof. I'm going to just say that there's probably some people locally that you may know that has a higher number. A higher number for sure.
I mean, when Trent was here last week, he was like, that's freshman year for some people in college.
That's facts. That's fact. Well, damn, 35 in 1 year? Whoa.
That's sticky. Not my business.
Very sticky and very loose.
Listen, this is my thing. Not in life, but in a year, I cannot imagine meeting 35 men that I would want to be that close to me. That's all.
I think she just needs to go ahead and say it, that she loves sex. You know what I mean? And probably her loving sex is something that is it's a form of like freedom for her. You know what I'm saying?
I don't even know if it's that. I think sometimes with women, especially, and she's probably said this, I haven't read her book. I've seen some interviews, but I don't know if I've gotten to this meat or part of it. I think sometimes women have sex for acceptance, for love, for that feeling of intimacy. They're looking for the closeness, and the sex brings them that in theory.
And it's crazy because you can get that without intercourse.
You can, but not if you're not having real connections. Not if you're not really in communication with the person. Not if he's there because it's like fresh body. She's there because she's like good contract. You know, even though she says she's not that type of person. Listen, those things could get overlooked. They might not be paying attention to all of that. So I don't know. I just think that how did we even get on this? Oh, because I was talking about Tamar, and this is like her second relationship in the past couple of years. People are gonna judge her. They're gonna blame her. But sometimes I think people forget. Sometimes stuff just doesn't work. Not everybody is gonna be your forever. People change. People sometimes grow in a different direction. I might have liked you in this moment for this time period, but now it's a new year and I'm on to new things.
Shouldn't use that as an excuse, especially if you're married, though. Talking about we outgrew each other. Well, then figure it out. Y'all married.
So you think that, and again, the vows do say till death do us part in sickness and in health, and you're supposed to work through all of that, and I respect that and I understand that and I believe in that. My parents were married for 45 years, together for 50. Grandparents were together on both sides for a very long time, so I respect marriage. But I do wonder, do you think that there are instances, and I'm not even talking about extremes like violence and things like that, do you think that there are some situations that allow for divorce? Because I also think that sometimes people staying together in the marriages, trying to honor the vows and do the right thing, stunt each other. And again, I'm not married, so.
There's credence to it. I think it boils down to the individual and what their deal breakers are. I just think when it comes to maybe like a character flaw or something like that, like, oh, you dismiss me or you don't listen to me or something like that, like I just feel like that type of stuff can be fixed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If it happens multiple times, well, both of y'all go to therapy or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like, exhaust all options on trying to fix things before y'all go the divorce route.
How do you think, because like here in California, there's like a 6 month to a year, something like that, cooling off period. It's not called a cooling off period, but that's what I'm calling it. You have to be separated before you can move into the phases to file for divorce. I think in theory, it's an opportunity to give the couple a chance to see if this is what they really want to do. It's the, sort of the last stand.
I like that.
Do you think that is something that all married couples should maybe have to go through, be separated for a time period to make sure that it is the best approach?
I agree, yeah. But, you guys got to be actively trying to see if you guys can fix it. If you guys are just going to be separated and, like, there's no contact at all, no form of communication between y'all two, then, yeah, you might as well just let it go.
Well, there it is. Pretty Brown Mimi in the chat says it would have been better received. She's talking about Tamar and JR. If Tamar would have posted instead of Jeremy, something short and sweet. Well, Tamar once says she was blindsided. So I don't know if maybe, she thought maybe they broke up and maybe it was just, a tiff and they would work it back out. Two, I think that she was probably trying a different approach. She's had some very, very high profile and public relationships. Obviously, Vince, he was on the show, the divorce, everything that happened afterwards. Forgive me, I don't remember the boyfriend before JR's name, but like I said, there were accusations of control, violence. Pretty Brown Mimi, you said that her 2 last partners gave you fame chaser vibes. Last one for sure. JR, when you go on a reality show, you're going on a reality show. It's what it is. You know, it's not like you're going to work through some deep-seated problem. You're going on there to maybe hook up with a famous woman. So you may not be a clout chaser, but you might be interested in clout. I'll just say that. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. We need people to fill these slots. I know that they are doing a season 2. I don't think that they're doing it with Nivea, Tamar, and Evelyn again. Evelyn Lozada, Chad Ochocinco's ex-wife, even though they were, the marriage was annulled. She and her guy that she met on there were engaged too, but it's looking like, I don't know, they've kind of removed the photos from social media, but maybe they're taking the relationship inside so that it has a chance to grow and develop outside of the spotlight. Because as we know, it's hard to have a relationship in the public eye. A lot of problems happen. Look how many couples break up after being on reality TV. Think about that. So there's something to that exposure. Excuse me. And it may not even necessarily just be the couple's fault, that kind of light, that kind of pressure on a relationship surely, can cause a lot of problems. So really quickly, wanted to mention the passing of Jacqueline Smith. We know she's the former Wild 'N Out dancer. We know that she's DC Young Fly's ex-partner. They had several children together, and she passed away the end of May following plastic surgery. Her cause of death has been announced. Her autopsy report said that she had swelling in her brain, extensive bleeding of the skin around her torso. She had a BBL. That's where they take fat from one area of your body and inject it into your behind for a fat booty. It is one of the most deadliest plastic surgery, what are they called? Plastic surgery augmentations. And, they said that she reportedly felt like her head was on fire. She had a headache. She was told to take ibuprofen. Just, I hope her children are okay. I hope DC Young Fly is coping well. And listen, I believe in plastic surgery. I believe in the freedom to change whatever it is you don't like about yourself. But I also think that elective surgery is still surgery. And you really have to look into the risks, and you really have to take it seriously. When we come forward, we'll have more trending topics and headlines, and we'll get into what's coming up for tomorrow's show. All of that and more. You're locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580.
RSVP with Jill Munroe is your go-to show for staying in the know. More engaging conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right. Y'all gotta try that Febreze car. Just right, just right, just right, yeah. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Febreze car clips right on your vent. My car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy Febreze. La 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 la.
Anyone can choose to make a difference. You can help people succeed, rebuild after disasters, protect the environment, or feed the hungry. Not only will you make a difference for others, but for yourself. You can earn money for college, learn career skills, and make friendships that last a lifetime. Make a difference Choose your future. Choose AmeriCorps.
This season, your coffee orders are getting warmer, and your outfits are getting cozier. The world keeps changing, and so does COVID-19. That's why this season's COVID-19 shots have been updated. They're one of the best ways to help protect yourself against COVID-19. You can get a COVID-19 shot at the same visit as a flu shot if you're due for both, as recommended by the CDC. Talk to your healthcare provider to learn more and schedule at vaccines.gov. And don't forget to get extra cinnamon spice. Sponsored by Pfizer and BioNTech.
Now back to more captivating conversation on RSVP with Jill Munroe.
You are locked into RSVP with Jill Munroe here on KBLA Talk 1580. So really quick, I had more divorce news. Jodie Turner-Smith is divorcing Joshua Jackson. You know, that's Pacey from Dawson's Creek. The two have a 3-year-old daughter named Janie. She's asking for joint custody. She wants spousal support taken off the table for both of them so nobody pays each other anything. They have a prenup. They cited irreconcilable differences. They first met in 2018, got engaged months later, and basically, excuse me, by the time the public found out about their relationship, they were already kind of married. There were rumors about a year ago that they had broken up when they unfollowed each other on social media, but then they were back at the Oscars together, but now, alas, it is to be no more. We have certainly seen a lot of celebrity relationships break up over the past few months, and quickly too. So if you found someone you like, you guys are clicking, slow down, hold tight to each other. We will get into more of these topics this week. Don't forget that on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about privilege, pretty girl privilege. Privilege in different situations. We're going to get into all of that tomorrow. I don't know what we're talking about, but we're going to be hitting more trending topics and headlines. We're going to be talking about New York's mayor. He's off the chain. I don't understand, really, especially when you live in a city like LA where, you know, hey, I'll talk about the governor right now. When we live in a city, a state like California, where your governor is like, yeah, I'm going to bait these people into a debate to show you how inept they are. We got tricks up our sleeve. Not what Eric is doing over there in New York, but we'll get more into that tomorrow. Thank you for rocking with us, VIPs. I appreciate you. Lock in tomorrow for more trending topics and headlines. Get your popcorn ready. You never know where these conversations might go. When we come forward, of course, it's going to be the best of KBLA. Thank you for rocking out. Have an amazing night. And shout out to Pretty Brown Mimi. Maybe we'll get some LL Cool J on for you this week. Good night, y'all.